guys, back again. I'm going to do a slightly shorter video this time. I think the videos I've been doing have just been a bit too long. So I'm going to cut my videos into a couple of weeks, maybe do 3 or 4 films. Yeah, I've also lost a tash, as you can see. Not there, David, there. Lost a tash. I raised £410, so pat on the back for me there. And my team raised about £4 for November, so that's great. But movies, we're on to movies, and oh my word, about another fantastic week. I've got my algorithm sorted, so I only really watch films that I expect to be good, and most of the time they are. Although I did watch a film this week that I didn't like, that I should have liked. But I'm going to start off with my first film that I watched, a film called Winter Sleep from 2014. I bought this box set from Amazon. It was, I think, a mistake. It was about £10 cheaper, it should have been. A Turkish film director called Nuit probably pronouncing correctly. I bought it because I watched a film of his called The Wild Pear Tree, which I loved. The reason I loved it is because it was probably one of the most... the film was just full of intelligent conversations. It felt like I was watching intellectuals talking and like a window on their world, and I kind of felt like, you know, it's kind of almost jealousy actually, that how these guys can come up with these pearls of wisdom just in normal everyday conversation. And the film is very much that. It's kind of the story is pretty light, but yeah, you want to catch the Wild Pear Tree. I mean, look at the artwork on this box set as well. There's the artwork from the Wild Pear Tree. It's absolutely beautiful. Little digibooks that you get each. It's about, I think there's about 8 films here. But the film that I watched this week from this wonderful director, well, he's wonderful now, I've seen 2 films, Winter Sleep, which was made in 2014. It's one of those films that it's very slow. It's 2 hours, sorry, over 3 hours long actually. You'll find yourself watching intellectual, interesting people have intellectual, interesting conversations. Which, I mean, to me, I found that fascinating. It might not be for everyone. What's incredible about the film is that it has 2 or 3 really, really serious, heated arguments. One between a man and a wife, one between a brother and a sister. And it's really, really unsettling and powerful. And the silences in between the arguing makes you squirm. And it was just like, I've never seen anything like it, to be honest. And there's a scene in the film towards the end. Again, I'm not going to obviously spoil it for you. There's a scene in the film at the end which made me wince in horror. But it was no violence, no abuse, nothing. But what happened in the film, you were like, oh my word. It was just, I gasped in shock and I literally went like that. Please watch this movie, and yeah, hopefully you'll know what I mean. Fantastic, absolutely fantastic film. It hooks you in. I think it's an acting masterclass. I'm not going to even attempt to pronounce all the actors, but the acting is just fantastic. You know, it's just amazing, and the backdrop of Anatolia in Turkey is breathtaking. The mountains and the steps, because the film is set in a hotel which is moulded into the mountains. Beautiful, so lovely scenery, so it makes it a visual feast. Yeah, I mean, I can't wait to. I mean, what I've done, I've gone in with his best films first. The next film I'm going to watch of his is Once Upon a Time in Anatolia, so I'm going to watch that one next on my Nuri Bilge Ceylan Odyssey. But fantastic stuff, fantastic. Okay, next film I watched was a film called La Hate, from 1995, a French film. I'm trying to keep this routine of watching films that I haven't seen but I should have seen, which this is one of them. New films from the last couple of years, and also keep going my East Asian films. So I'm trying my best, but sometimes you just pick a film off the shelf because you're just feeling the mood for it. But this film is a film that I really, really should have seen. I mean, a young Vincent Cassel, incredible. The film tells a story using the art form of kind of social realism, shot in black and white monochrome. The day in the life of a trio of young urban men in Paris in the 1990s, set amongst city riots, police brutality. It's a film that the story is reasonably light, and it's just a very kind of straightforward story of a day in the life of three guys who, you know, they're kind of bored, they're having fun, they're getting in trouble. The banter is to and fro. That's great, you know, some hilarious one-liners, fantastic one-liners. But the film really captivates and intrigued me with its camera work and photography and editing. It's kind of really, really, there's one of the best dolly zoom shots I've ever seen in my life. See a lot of dolly zoom shots recently. The Other Lamb had a fantastic one as well. Of course, the original, my favourite one, obviously in Jaws, is one that springs to mind. But it's got some amazing crane shots in this movie. The director straps the camera to a car, and you're seeing the point of view which is incredible. There's no score at all, which is really interesting. So it's one of those films that it just kind of goes along and enthralls, and you enjoy it in the moment. As also, of course, it's also a study of how hate begets hate. You become what you hate, all that kind of stuff. And it's also a film about some desperate young men trying to prove themselves, especially the lead protagonist. It was the first watch for me, as I said. It's a BFI restoration. I've actually lost the slipcase. I'll find it somewhere. It's got a booklet as well in it. Beautiful, beautiful restoration by the BFI. Look, the film looks fantastic. Really interesting critique of the film by Riz Ahmed, who is a young filmmaker and rapper. And I think that it's one of those films that you probably have seen, but I'd recommend you pick up the BFI restoration because it's so amazing and the extras are fantastic. So yeah, La Haine, fantastic. Then I watched a film from 2019 called Harpoon. Got the Arrow release with the booklet inside, first edition, has to be done. Yeah, this is a film directed by a guy called Rob Grant. It is a film that it's not gonna not gonna blow your mind. It's just a normal kind of fun thriller, horror, black comedy kind of deal. Three guys on a boat, and everything goes completely crazy when they find out that he's doing that and she's doing that and whatever behind the backs and all that kind of backstabbing stuff that friends get up to, I guess. But it's like a lot of fun. It is the violence is crazy and silly, not extreme, but you know it's pretty mad. If you want a good time, I'd recommend this film. Probably one to watch with a group of guys, maybe, or girls. So I watched a film on Netflix by a new British director called Remy Weeks, a film called His House, made in 2020. And it's a quality debut, guys, a quality debut. Very, very neat intertwining of social commentary, thriller, horror, drama. It depicts how some refugees from Africa are treated in the UK. Doesn't do it in a kind of sledgehammer way. There's a few scenes where the refugees are treated really badly by the locals, but it does it in a way that's very different. It does it in using allegorical motifs and dream sequences, and it paints a more kind of complex picture. It's just a really, really super smart movie, really intelligent film, but it's also great fun. It's got some really fantastic jump scares, and probably the most wonderful story twist that I've seen in many years. Really completely threw me. Well, I'm not going to obviously talk anything about the plot other than It's one that you definitely have to watch. It's on Netflix, so it's not going to cost you loads of money to buy the physical copy. It's a horror film, but it's also going to teach you something about the human condition and about people like in a refugee situation. And yeah, a lot going on in this movie. Certainly got rewatch quality. Thoroughly recommend it. His House, Remy Weeks. Go watch it. So I only watched one East Asian film this week, a Korean film by Hong Sang-soo, if I pronounced that correctly. Yeah, Hong Sang-soo, apparently a master director from South Korea, who kind of specialises in kind of angst drama, Woody Allen-esque, if you will, where his films are basically conversational pieces and just about people talking about their love life or their hopes, their dreams, their aspirations. You know, it's pretty insular, quite yeah, almost boring actually, some of the conversations. But I mean, there were a couple of scenes in the movie that were really interesting. There were some great drunken arguments that I found fascinating in this film, and the performances are good. It's just, I don't think it's for me. You know, this director's not my bag. Disappointed because I bought the Korean edition of the movie, which is a beautiful slipcase embossing and a booklet inside and all that kind of shenanigans. You know, now available on eBay for a good price. I also bought a film called Grass, which I will watch, of course, and that will be probably the end of my Hong Sang-soo odyssey, if you can call it that. But it's just not for me. Too light, too fluffy, maybe. But I get that. I mean, he does. You know, he does depict the mundane, everyday life in Korean society really well, and I think that you learn quite a bit about Korean society and Korean people when you watch his movies, for sure. So that certainly is one reason to watch. But as I said, not the biggest fan. Sorry about that.